What's up, we should say movies here. Now, since I'm doing my top 10 list of my favorite horror movies of each year, it is of course the 2014's turn. So here are my official top 10 favorite horror films of 2024. Because that was a pretty good horror films that year. Well, not 2024, 2014, my bad. Anyway, here's my list. Number 10 is Mike Flanagan's Oculus. It stars Karen Gillan, Brenton Dowitz, where adult siblings try to destroy the antique Leicester glass mirror they believe drove their father to take out their mother. And she's, of course, you got Karen Gillan, who plays Kaylee, who's obsessed with proving. With, of course, proving its Mel Vian's supernatural influence here. And the brothers' sibling chemistry with Karen Gillan and Brandon Dowitz is really good. You got Katie Sackhoff. One of Mike Flanagan's early stuff he did. It's really creepy. It is interesting. Great performances by Gillian, by Dwellis. Well worth watching. All right. Coming in at number 9 is a little horror movie titled Stage Fright. Stage Fright, of course, stars the late great music icon Meatloaf. You've got Minnie Driver, Ally McDonald. This is actually a horror slasher musical film. I thought of this as, let's say, Scream meets High School Musical. That's why I always got with this one. It's Scream meets High School Musical. If you guys don't know much about Stage Fright, it's where a musical theater camp runs like a run by fading star Kylie Swanson, played by the late great Meatloaf. You also do got ambitious teen Camilla audition for the lead role. And as rehearsal testify, a vengeful killer Indigo Stress Almas is, taking people out one by one. There is some musical elements, and interesting where the killer actually sings, which is interesting. It's like if you ever see Ghostface just bust out a song, that's what you got with this one. The kills are great. It's fun, entertaining, fun music. If you guys haven't seen it, I think you'll find it on Tubi nowadays. Give it a go. It's a really fun one. All right, number 8 is Horns. Horns is a very good little film. It's based on a book by Joe Hill, who also wrote the book for The Black Phone, which also got turned into film. And he's the son of Stephen King. And this movie stars Daniel Radcliffe, Juno Temple, Max Minghella, Elizabeth Perkins, Joe Anderson. It is a really nice little horror film. It's directed by Alexandra Yaja, who gave us Piranha 3D, High Tensions, the Hills Have Eyes remake. Horns is, of course, where this man wakes up after a drunken night of the grief over his girlfriend's unsummer, and he ends up having horns sprouting from his forehead. And the horns compel everyone around him to reveal their darkest secrets and all. This movie has some fun humor to it. Daniel Radcliffe, probably one of my favorite Daniel Radcliffe performances that's not Harry Potter related, obviously. He is great in this one. Really, I really wish we got a sequel to this, but that never happened. But yeah, Horns is a good one. If you guys haven't seen it, I recommend that one. Number 7 is The Town That Dreaded Sundown remake. This movie, of course, features the likes of Addison Timlin, Anthony Anderson pops up in this, Veronica Cartwright. It's, of course, we're decades after the infamous 1946 Moonlight murders. There's, of course, a screening of the 1973 film about the phantom killer. Reignites fear when a masked figure in a South Cove hood begins, taking out people one by one. And the movie definitely is it's actually probably one of the rare remakes that's better than the original. It's really a lot of fun. Some of the kills are pretty cool. I would love to see another one, but weird we never got to see another one, but I mean, I guess the original is not it's not probably not as classic as, let's say, a Halloween or Texas Chainsaw, but the original is pretty good as well. But the remake is a lot of fun, to say the least. All right, coming in at number 6 is Devil's Due. Now, this is, of course, directed by Radio Silence, who will go on to give us Ready or Not, the recent Scream movies, and, of course, they put out Abigail last year. And this is, of course, where like newlyweds, Zach and Samantha, embark on a honeymoon in the Dominican Republic, only to return home with with of course, no memory of a strange night and an unexpected pregnancy here. It is, of course, like a found footage type film. I always saw this movie as Paranormal Activity meets Rosemary's Baby because of the found footage stuff. And obviously, the guy uncovers evidence of a satanic ritual. It is a creepy one. I mean, I can say this is a movie that really put radio silence on the map for most people. Uh, I think they also did VHS at the time as well. But Devil's Due is a really good one. It is creepy throughout. Definitely has that Rosemary Babies feel to it. I mean, yeah, it's a really decent one. Very underrated, too, by the way. Number 5 is Blue Ruin. Now, this was actually the directorial debut by Jeremy Saulnier, who would go on to direct movies like Green Room. He recently put out Rubber Ridge last year. This movie stars Macon Blair, uh, Devin Rattray, who you might know as Buzz from Home Alone. And this is where, like, Dwight, who's a deceiver, drifter, living out of his unbeat car, learns that, like, a man who murdered his parents is being released from prison. And he returns to rural Virginia hometown to take out the perpetrator. I mean, this movie is really violent, really showcase how great Jeremy Saulnier does when it comes to violence and stuff. It's really, like, the cinematography is really good. Macon Blair is great. Of course, Macon Blair recently directed the Toxic Avenger remake just this past year. But yeah, Blue Ruin is a really good one. Number 4, I guess you could consider more action more than straight up horror, but I still consider them horror at times. Number 4 is The Purge Anarchy. Now, this really brings like the Purge, like the first Purge was more straight up horror. The next few became more like action centric more than straight up horror. But they still definitely had horror elements to them. It's of course more like this cab driver named Leo, played by Frank Grillo, and a couple find themselves stranded in downtown LA amid escalating chaos here. And obviously, this whole movie, takes place during one night where crime is legal and stuff. It's probably not as good as the first Purge, because this movie came out like a year after the first Purge, and I mean each time they always kept bringing like doing the Purge movie each year and all. And I had a fun time with Anarchy. It was really entertaining throughout. Frank Grillo was great. He really made these movies be more entertaining. The late great Michael K. Williams was in this. Zach Gilford, who's also in Devil's Due, he was in this as well. It's a really cool one. That's well worth watching there. Number 3 is The Guest. Probably more action horror, more likely. But The Guest is directed by Adam Wingard, who, of course, gave us Your Next, the Godzilla and Kong films, Death Note. It stars Dan Stevens, Michael Moreau, the late great Lance Reddick, and it's about like the stranger named David who arrives at the Patterson family home, claiming to be a war buddy of a deceased son. And he's, of course, initially a welcome guest who brings comfort, protecting kids from bullies here. And his dark secrets, emerge as like a wave of mysterious deaths and violence here. It is it is entertaining. It's violent throughout. Adam Wingard did great with this. Dan Stevens, Michael Moreau's great. It is a really cool like action horror movie that's well worth watching there. All right, number 2 is The Babadook. The Babadook is a great one. Directed by the great Jennifer Kent, Essie Davis, who's also in Alien Earth, by the way. This movie is about like a widow mother named Amelia and her troubled young son Samuel, who are haunted by grief over like the loss of their husband and father, and their torment escalates when like a sinister children's pop-up book called Mr. Babadook appears in like their home here, and the movie is very creepy. The Babadook character, by the way, is actually really more popular. Like if you see like videos of or photos of horror conventions, you'll see the Babadook character always being shown there, and people take pictures of her. Or I mean, it makes me really wonder like why they never done a sequel to Babadook. But anyway, it is still really good. I want to say at least. Essie Davis is great. I mean, recommend that one big time. And my number one favorite is Tusk. Tusk is crazy. Starring the late great Micah Parks, Haley Joel Osment, Johnny Depp is in this one. Directed by Kevin Smith. Based on like a podcast that he did before, where like this podcaster named Wallace Bretton, played by Justin Long, travels to Canada to interview this old man, and of course the old man decides to trap him here and turn him into a walrus. And this movie is nuts. It gets crazy throughout. Like the way he turns him into a walrus is insane. I mean, it was. I still remember seeing this thing. I had a fun time though. It was really crazy. I felt so sorry for poor Justin Long. Then the end when his friends, ends up finding him. It is a crazy one, and yeah, I still hope Kevin Smith somehow makes a sequel down the line. But he said he is trying to get one, but who knows? I mean, this is a crazy body horror movie that is well worth a watch there. But that's pretty much it. Here is my quick rundown. Number 10, Oculus. 9, Stage Fright. 8, Horns. 7, The Town That Dreaded Sundown. 6, Devil's Due. 5, Blue Ruin. 4, The Purge Anarchy. 3, The Guest. 2, The Babadook. And number 1 is Tusk. Now, there are a few other ones I could have added. Spring. Late Phases. Definitely not As Above, So Below. Honeymoon. Taking of Deborah Logan. Creep. Definitely not Annabelle. But there's some other really good ones I could have included. Anyway, let me let you guys. What are some of your favorite horror movies of 2014? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is Simon.